Okay. So, I'm gonna set up some context real quick for those who don't know who I am if you found this video miraculously somehow. I'm still quite new to Dead by Daylight. I've only got like a couple hundred hours in the game. I've only been playing over the summer. I started in May. I had 2 hours before I started in May, and I only played Wraith, and I got 1 kill. Then I got Ghostface, and that suddenly changed. Anyway, I've been playing pretty much the entire summer nonstop. I've been finding content creators to follow over this so I can like learn better. Like Otstarva, Hens, ZM Pixie, Stalked, Shrouded Ghostface, Scott Jund, Spooky Jukes. Like, I've put in the effort to learn a lot about this game, including things like slugging, tunneling, greeting, pre-dropping, looping. I'm not good at looping. I'm still not good at looping. I play Ghostface. You think I'm good at looping? No, I try and stalk, and then I forget to stalk half the time. Anyway, see, you might be wondering why are you basically making your opinion irrelevant at the start of this video? Because I need you to understand how this also looks from a relatively new player's perspective, right? As someone who has seen a lot of more experienced people throw their hats in the rings numerous times and gets an idea of how a lot of these vocal like veterans of this game feel and how with their expertise. No one really ever considers, what about the people who just joined the game for like Springtrap or The Walking Dead? How are they gonna feel about this? Hi, I started playing because Springtrap was coming. Simple as that. So, so for context, yeah, I main Ghostface. I know it's really funny to say after I just said Springtrap was like, oh, Springtrap's the draw to the game. I still play Springtrap. I'm kind of waiting for me to get buffed a little, but we'll see how it is. And my main build for Ghostface, just for additional context, is Lethal Pursuer, Friends Till the End, Surge, and Scourge Hook Pain Resonance for the perks. Add-ons are usually either some combination of Philly, driver's license, drop leg knife sheath, or outdoor security camera. And then I never bring a Mori because that kind of kills the value of Friends Till the End. I don't bring a Mori. I bring Bloodborne offerings usually. So, Behavior has officially posted the 9.2.0 update PTB patch notes. And I have thoughts. I did a quick read through of these and I was like, oh, oh boy. So I like, this is really funny coming from because I don't try and slug and tunnel. I really don't. Even though like tunneling, I'll tunnel if the opportunity presents itself and I find it like just as like, they can't be mad at me, they're just giving it to me. I try not to tunnel out of like anger or out of like, this is the most awesome thing. I tunnel if it's like, you're basically getting in my way nonstop like you're asking for it, therefore I'm going to tunnel you because you were just asking for it. That's when I tunnel. But it's not like an intentional, I need to get you out ASAP so I can win the game kind of thing. It's a if it happens, it happens for me. And I don't really slug a lot. Especially now that Conviction got added into the game, I try not to slug a lot, but we'll see. Anyway, why did it tab me to the, there we go. Let's go over the slugging reduction. If a survivor is left in the dying state for a total of 90 seconds during a match, they gain the ability to pick themselves up after fully recovering. Added the option to enable or disable some of the mechanic and customs. I like that they're actually adding toggles and customs now. That's really fun. Perks that enable you to recover from dying state, like Boon Exponential, will continue to function as before without needing to meet this requirement. Gradually increases crawling speed for survivors. Added the ability for survivors to recover while crawling. I actually like that one. I never understood why recovery was something you had to sit still and do, and not something you could, it was just not just a passive thing. Updated several survivor and killer perks to account for these changes. Good. So here's my thing. I like that it is a total of blank seconds because they can just play the numbers game and tweak that. Do I think 90's a little overtuned? Probably, but they might figure it out. I would have started at like 105, if not 120, personally. This is a minute and a half. Why not just bump it up to 2 minutes? But then I remember that some games go really quickly. You need those extra seconds. So I get starting a little overtuned for this and then adjusting based on community feedback. That being said, need a sip of water, sorry. I literally just woke up and got out of bed. This is the most talking I've done all morning. Or afternoon, I guess, for me. That being said, there are some killers who kind of need to slug nowadays to get value out of, you know, that control. Like Trapper. I feel like Trapper is going to suffer now. Oh boy. I try not to slug again as Ghostface, but like there have definitely been times where slugging would have helped me or has helped me. So see, a passive recovery while crawling that's good. I actually like that. And protect yourself, you've been in dying state for 90 seconds. When it comes to slugging, we know it can be frustrating if you're on the receiving end of it too often or for too long. We also know that sometimes it's a smart move. The system acknowledging this, allowing the killer to slug occasionally when they feel like it's the right call, but will eventually kick in and swing in the desirer's favor if slugging is being used excessively. That's fair. I get that. I actually kind of like the ideas behind those changes. I just think they're going to need to be tweaked. I don't take too much issue with the slugging changes, believe it or not. I don't. I think the gradual speed increase maybe is a little much, but I get it. You're crawling on the ground. It's whatever. What you call it? Yeah, I like the automatic recovery bar now. I actually really do. That's just genuinely a good good change. What I have issues with is the tunneling reduction update. I don't think these were thought out super well. So let's read these. Can I? Hold on. Good enough. Okay. When a survivor is hooked, their hook status is hidden from the killer. When they're unhooked, there is no notification, and their hook status isn't revealed immediately. This is disabled once all generators are completed. I have problems with this. Killers already get less information on hook states than survivors. Unless you're, like, keeping track in your head. What do you mean you're just going to further reduce the information they get? Why? Why? What's the point of that? Like, this applies for all killers, regardless of tunneling. Unhooked survivors gain the following effects for a limited time. Haste, Endurance, and Elusive, a new status effect, I think. No collision with other players. Immunity to Killer Instinct and seize the killer's aura nearby. These effects are lost when the affected survivor performs a conspicuous action, like Decisive. All these effects, except Haste and Endurance, are disabled once all generators are completed. I wish I knew what the limited time was to better, like, judge these. I don't mind things like no collision and I think Elusive is, I have to reread Elusive, but I don't mind like another status effect being there. I think the seeing the killer's aura nearby is kind of dumb, especially for Swifts, but If it's in like a certain range, maybe I can see that working. Immunity Killer Instinct is going to suck if the person I just hooked reveals me as Ghostface, then I won't know where they're at. I won't be able to do anything about that, especially because Ghostface's revealing is bugged right now. I'm pretty sure people can do it through walls. There's just no counterplay to that. Added a unique effect to the killer hook state UI that indicates the last survivor they hooked. This is neat, actually. Like, yeah, you're taking away the rest of the status up top, like the hook status and all that. You're taking away that information, but you're telling us who the last survivor they hooked is. Which I don't hate. Because again, I play Friends till the end anyway. I try and hook spread. Believe it or not, I feel like hook spreading actually creates more pressure than tunneling if I can actually get the hooks off. Because then everyone is slowly and surely losing that safety net they had. And then plays become more risky and it's like a snowball effect. You know? This is the interesting one for me. After completing a unique hook, same survivor is not hooked consecutively, killers get the following benefits. Bonus damage for next generator kick. Temporary haste status effect. Base kit, barbecue, and chili if the survivors have less or equal hook states to the one you just hooked. And these are only slightly lessened for Blight, Dark Lord, Ghoul, Hillbilly, and Nurse. The three I see the two or three S tier killers and like some 8 and like 2 or 3 A tier depending on where you put Billy. Holy, they can actually do things based on what killer you are playing. Do you guys not understand how huge that is? We can have things affect different killers differently. We can have changes affect like different killers more than others. That like they just casually threw that in there? What? Okay, these are the parts I actually really fucking hate. Like, actually, these next parts. Added new effects that disincentivize tunneling. If the survivor dies before 6 total health states, all remaining survivors gain a repair speed bonus for the rest of the trial. If the survivor that was last hooked is sacrificed or killed, generators cannot be regressed or blocked. Why am I being punished for... Why are killers being punished for this? 6 is too much, like just straight up. 4 I would get, because like that's 3 hook states and you've only hooked one other person. I get that. But within 6 total hook states, that is ridiculous. That is so overtuned to hell. That is just awful. And they get the repair speed, and if you hook the same person and that was just hooked and kill them, you can't regress gens anymore. Hey, remember what I said? 2 of my fucking perks are gen regression. Cause Ghostface needs that. You're gonna invalidate 2 of my perks, half of my kit. Because I killed someone who I hooked last time. Mind you, I've had to do that before because they're the only person I can fucking find. Or they get in my way. Like, that is not always a conscious choice on the killer's part. And I wish they would tell you what fucking perks they updated to account for these changes. But they don't on the patch notes. Oh, I gotta wait till the PTB fucking drops, I guess. So now, like, they have built-in survivors. Basically, like, it's the basic way I could say this is, if you even accidentally slightly tunnel, you're fucked. And you can't really slug anymore. You can slug maybe one time throughout the entire game. Otherwise, fuck you. Killers are just like... I get that slugging and tunneling are issues, but they are also valid playstyles of the game. Are they fun? Not really. But oh well. I don't cry when I get tunneled or slugged when I play Survivor. Oh my god. Okay. Elusive. New status effect. Silences grunts of pain and suppresses survivors' aura, pools of blood, and scratch marks. I actually don't hate this. Like, as weird as that is, yeah, they say it right there. It's a survivor version of undetectable. I like that. I like when survivors actually like can hide, and like it's a weird because that's the whole thing in horror movies is like there's chases, but also there's also just survivors hiding, like behind objects, not just inside the lockers and stuff, like behind objects where you can't be seen. I feel like Elusive would really help with that, actually. And I don't mind this being a thing. I don't even mind this being an unhook. My thing with the hook changes and the tunneling changes is that you get punished for playing the game as a killer. If you kill someone too early, you get punished for the rest of the game. Like, is that not an issue? Is that not a problem? Especially because you can just accidentally kill someone too early. I have done that. I have miscalculated hook states. I am pretty sure everyone has at least once miscalculated hook states and accidentally killed someone when they meant to, like, then they thought, oh, this will be second hook, they'll be fine. No, they're dead. And it's like, whoopsie doopsie. Anyway, it's like, why? Like, they're going to have to completely rework that, I think. They can't just leave that in base. They can't just leave that in the game. They're either going to remove it, or they're going to rework it, or just... They might nerf it and then see how that goes, and if it's fine nerfed, then maybe they'll leave it. But I just don't like the idea of a killer being punished for playing the game. So before 6 total hook states, so you have 5 hook states to hook everyone, meaning theoretically everyone should be first hook state by 4, and then you hook someone else and get 5. Now let's say here's a hypothetical. Let's say the first person you hook, survivor A, goes into second stage. You now have 2 hook states automatically. Then you hook survivors B and C. That's 4 hook states. But then you find survivor A didn't realize they went second stage because now their hook status is hidden from you. And then you hook them and they die on the 5th hook state. That's a 4-6. Do you get the fucking nerfs? Do you get nerfed for that? Do you get nerfed for that shit? Like, that is ridiculously incompetent design. I get that tunneling is not fun and it's something and it's like arguably, I would say tunneling is worse than slugging, because at least slugging there's ways to recover from that still, especially with the new anti-slug that really just might need some number tweaks in the future. I actually don't hate the anti-slug. I think it's neat. I think it's fine. It's a total duration of the match thing. It still gives you the option to slug when you think the moment is right without it doing it excessively and making the game boring. I get that. That's fine. I can live with that. I don't slug much anyway. That won't affect me too much, right? This is just bullshit. I don't mind the unhooked survivors gain the following effects part. I don't mind that section. I really don't. I think the killer instinct is a little dumb, but whatever. I like that it tells you who you last hooked. It helps you kind of keep track of things in your head a little easier. I like the unique hook rewards. They're not needed, but I like them, especially as a compensation for removing hook status, so that you don't see. At the same time, I would rather get rid of the unique hook benefits if we also get rid of the effects that desensitize tunneling, because these are just actual shit. I hate them so much. I am so mad about these. Because I just demonstrated, you can do that by total fucking accident. And not even know. God, Elusive is neat though. Like, okay, getting on the positive sides, I like Elusive. Elusive looks neat. Tomes lore update. Updated the Tomes menu to feature new tomes and accompanying lore alongside each chapter release. New lore is unlocked each week within the active tome. Lore is back. Okay. I have wanted to look into Dead by Daylight lore for the longest time. The only lore I really know is Ghost Faces. Surprise, surprise. I know, I did the Danny Johnson tome. Crazy. Lore, on previous lore-sided challenges, we want all players to have a chance to immerse themselves in these stories, so we've shifted to a weekly unlock not linked to any quest completion. Okay, I like that. That's neat. Killer updates. Myers is having a whole rework pretty much, which was not... I feel like they should have said that instead of just the shape gameplay update. I feel like they should have just straight up said the shape gameplay rework. One thing that right off the bat, I'm not sure how to feel about is Myers having tears removed. Evil Within is just gone, pretty much. I don't know how to feel about his removal of tears, because like that's kind of his thing. Isn't he like the only killer in the game? No, wait, hold on, let me double check this. Let me think about this real quick. He's one of like 2 killers I can think of with tears based on their power. That's his whole thing. And you're getting rid of that for Myers? The one who in the first Halloween movie, the only one I ever watched, like only really got more deadly the longer he was on screen. Like it was an increase over the screen. In the first like half of the movie, he doesn't really do much. He just crashes a car. And he stalks Lori a lot. And then as the movie goes, like as that like second half goes on, pretty much, else I'm misremembering the timings, but like he gets more dangerous the longer the movie goes on. It's like an increase, right? Which Evil Within simulated. I don't know how to feel about the rework as a whole, like just on the concept of, is this really how Michael Myers feels? But like it's one of those things where it's like this might be better for the game, but is it really, does this sacrifice Myers' identity? Does this take away from what makes Michael Myers? Now granted, you still have the stalk ability, which I think Mike Myers also pioneered. So well, let me just read everything before I... Replace Evil Within with 2 modes that can be toggled with a button press. Stalker mode, 4.2 meters per second movement speed, undetectable and can stalk survivors. Pursuer mode, 4.6 movement speed, 24 meter terror radius, increased vault speed, bonuses to lunge range, break speed, and stun recovery, and cannot stalk survivors. Once the stalk meter is full, Evil Incarnate mode can be triggered at will, granting the following effects for a limited time. Note survivors no longer become exposed. 4.6 movement speed, 40 meter terror radius at an increased vault speed. Unlock slaughtering strike ability, which is it's just pig's dash. It's just pig's lunge. Pig's ambush. It's just pig's ambush. But with like it goes as far as you want and by how long you hold it instead of a set distance. But it is just like Pig's Ambush, but with some tweaks. And also it's an instant down every time. I don't think Pig's Ambush instant downs. So unlocks the ability to grab and kill or perform a regular Mori on survivors who would die the next time they are hooked. So Myers no longer gets instant death. Myers no longer gets to instantly kill someone. Adjust the mechanics of stalking. Remove the limited pool of stalk points per survivor. Reduce stalk range to 32 meters. Remove distance modifier. Moving while stalking has increased movement speed, but incurs a reduced stalk rate, and reworked his add-ons. So let me check something real quick. Let me... where's Ghostface on the wiki? There we go. What is Ghostface's stalk range? Okay, so Ghostface's stalk range is 40 meters. And let me make sure this is visible on OBS. Yeah, so that's Slaughtering Strike. I don't know how to feel about this. Honestly, I think Myers would have been fine if he just buffed him and did a couple add-on reworks. I don't necessarily think he needed an entirely new kit, like new power. Because like I said, Michael's old power with Evil Within felt like Myers. That, like, I've always said, like, Myers might be a lower tier killer, but yeah, that's Michael Myers. That's just straight up how he is. This feels kind of dumb. Again, also, I'm pretty sure he was the first killer to have tears. Why are you removing tears from the first killer to have tears? Michael was like the fourth, wasn't he like the fourth or fifth killer ever in Dead by Daylight? He was like... I mean, he's listed fifth on the wiki. But it was like, it was... Hold on. He was in the second DLC. Halloween was the second DLC. Which I think is crazy. I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it, because I don't play Myers. I have Myers. I really should play him. I want to get a feel for how he. I know he's weak, but like honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, is it really worth sacrificing the killer's identity for a better feeling experience? You know. That being said, they've done an entire add-on pass. I don't know. I need to see this in action more, but I don't think this is 100% Myers. This doesn't feel like Myers to me. It is probably stronger. We'll see, but we'll see once the PTB actually releases. The Clown. Increased activation time of Afterpiece Antidote. Increase how long Afterpiece Tonic's hindered effect lasts, or effect lingers after leaving smoke. So, yeah, okay. They're just adjusting Clown to be less brain dead. That's fine. I like that. The Unknown also is getting updated a bit. It increased the additional time added to weaken when injured by a UVX projectile. Increased movement speed recovery after teleporting. Increased camera vertical range. Adjusted several add-ons. So he can do trick shots like Springtrap now. Okay. That's fun. That's fun. I actually don't mind that. Unknown is largely considered to be fun to play as it against. Want to preserve that while adapting to the current state of gameplay. We buffed the UVX slightly while also taking what we learned from the animatronic to allow for orbitals, improving UVX, aiming and making for even more fun gameplay. That's neat. I like that. Dracula, Dark Lord. He got an update. What is it? Oh god. just behind me, I see the most like controversial one probably besides Myers and the tunneling. I imagine this is also going to be a slightly controversial topic. Vampire form. Slightly reduced Hellfire cooldown, increased total Hellfire pillars by 1. Very cool. Reduced Hellfire charge movement speed. Slightly increased slowdown time after casting Hellfire. So it's just slight adjustments to Hellfire. It's a little stronger, but a little harder to use. That's cool. I like that. That's fine. I don't have Dracula, but he seems fun to play. Wolf form. Increased pounce attack charge time. Increased scent orb spawn time. I don't know how that affects wolf, or the wolf form, so again, I don't play Dracula. Bat form. Increased movement friction to make flying easier to control. Oh, that's neat. And just some add-ons. Vampire form is slightly less oppressive and short loops where movement slowdown had less of an impact, and toning down wolf form's mobility, which has been outclassed some dash killers. On the flip side, you'll find Bat form easier to control in tighter spaces and can use Hellfire slightly more frequently and reach further with it. Yeah, okay, that's neat. This is the one that I think people are going to complain about. Kaneki only got one change. When grabbing a survivor on the other side of a vault with Kagune Leap... Okay, disclaimer, I don't know anything about Tokyo Ghoul. I could be pronouncing everything wrong. I apologize in advance. I don't really watch anime or read manga. The survivor is released at the start of the Ghoul's Vault instead of at the end. I'm imagining this is a good change. I don't really play Survivor much, but every time I play Survivor, I feel like I get a nice variety of killers because I'm so low MMR. Everyone's just playing a killer they want to play. Stun Secret has been a common pain point for survivors to be locked in place when hit with a leap, grab attack across a vault. Survivors shouldn't have to wait for the ghoul to finish their vault before being able to move again, so we remove this tech. Okay, I like that. I like that. I don't know... Again, I don't know how much this will change the ghoul, but we'll see. The Oni got an update. Hooking the survivor now spawns more blood orbs. I understand that with the changes we're making to address slugging, this will impact the Oni slightly, so we want to mitigate this. By turning hook survivors into a greater source of power gauge build up, the Oni is rewarded with more quickly snowballing by hooking. Okay, actually, I actually don't dislike that. I think that's a neat change. If you're compensating with our specific killer because of the other changes, that's neat. I like that. And updated various perks. Won't say which ones. Stay tuned for next Tuesday for the P2P live balance preview on Discord, where we'll dig into the details of these perk changes. And then follow up with that with patch notes. You can find the nitty-gritty numbers. Until next time. I wish I knew which perks you were talking about, but fine. Fine. I would at least like to know. You don't have to tell me the numbers, but can you at least tell us which perks have been updated so far? That's all I'm asking. God. Overall, this is a wild patch. This is a wild patch. Let's just straight up. I like the Oni changes. I think the Ghoul changes are probably good. Dark Lord changes don't affect me, but they seem pretty good. UVX seems like a really, honestly a small change that just is more fun. Not UVX, unknown, my bad. Clown getting less brain dead is always a win. Myers, I am very, 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 very not sure how to feel about. Again, this doesn't feel like Myers. It's probably stronger though. We'll see it when we see it in action, then I'll probably make a better judgment. And again, whenever I see all of these changes in actions, like in action, my opinion is subject to change. Remember that. Opinions are subject to change. I can feel differently about something today than I will say like next week. The tome is really nice. Elusive as a status effect for survivors, I actually don't mind. I really even don't mind the anti-slugging. It is just straight up, it is the anti-tunnel. The way they've implemented the anti-tunnel that I have a problem with. I think punishing killers who could accidentally get someone out because they didn't realize is dumb, especially if it's so early into the game or so early into the hook states. I think that is actually just bad. I think that's like dare I even say that's probably unhealthy for the game, because then if you set the precedent that killers can be punished for killing someone too quickly, even if it's by accident. What else are you gonna be punished for? What if survivors get punished for surviving too much? Like, that sets a precedent that I don't like. Right off the top, right off the gate. That sets a precedent I don't like. Killers can be punished because they accidentally killed someone too early. Intentionally killing someone too early, also, fine, whatever. But like, also, I just thought of this. What if someone brings a luck offering and kills himself on hook? Does that does that incur the new effects? I don't even know if I used that word right. Does that trigger the new effects? If they die super early into the game, if they go next like the first time they're hooked, will that punish the killer? I hope not, but knowing behavior, it probably will, even if it's not intentionally doing it. Reminder too, by the way, we just had a patch. We literally just had another patch. Like, okay, I found it. We just had a patch that fixed a few bugs, and that was it. But all it did was really, like we just got Last Stand re-enabled. Last Stand, in case you don't know, is just infinite finesse until it stuns the killer, and can also stun the killer through walls that they don't even know they're being are being vaulted. It is ridiculous how it works. I don't like Last Stand or Conviction. But like, so we have that, and now we're getting all of this. It I don't like these. I don't like the anti-tunneling. I really don't. I cannot stress enough. I don't like the anti-tunneling stuff. They need to go back to the drawing board on this. They really do. At least with the effect stuff. At least with the new effects to disincentivize it. I don't like that. I don't like the hook status being hidden from the killer. I don't like I can live without the unique hook benefits if it means there are better implemented ways for anti-tunneling. Please, behavior on the like 0.00001% chance someone with behavior is watching this. Please. Please. Reconsider. There are so many ways this can go. The new disincentivizing tunneling effects can go wrong that will punish the killer if they're not even tunneling not even tunneling. Like it's ridiculous. Again, reminder. Hook survivor A, you go second stage without you noticing, that's 2 hook states, right? You hook survivors B and C, that's 4. You find survivor A again, you hook them, they're dead on the 5th hook state, which is before 6 total hook states, meaning the punishments activate. And you get punished because you played the game. You get punished. It 6 is too much. 5 could work. 4 is definitely tunneling. Before 5 total hook states, where it's just like they are 3 of the 4 hook states, I could see that being tunneling. I could see that being worth looking into. I could see that like you just. That's the point. It's the fact that this is the number that they could change, but I don't know if they're going to. So. That's it. That's how I feel about the about the changes and everything. I want to see the updated Myers in action. I want to see, like, before I pass a final judgment on him. Again, I'm really split. On one hand, this is probably great because he's stronger and will actually be a threat. On the other hand, it sounds like it feels less like Michael Myers, which I'm not a fan of. So we'll see. We'll see. Again, PTB releases next week. I'll be in my college dorm, so you probably won't get a video out unless I go home that weekend to record one, which I probably won't. No, I will go home that weekend. I'll go home my first weekend, back to norm every night, every year, just to get stuff and stuff. So you might get a video out next week on this channel next weekend. Maybe. We'll see. I also have 2 V8 footage I can use, so you might get that instead. We'll see. But yeah, I don't like a lot of these. I don't like it's not that I don't like a lot of these. Most of the killer changes I'm indifferent to. I think, okay, that's fine, fair enough. Myers, again, is the only one I'm really like, is this a good idea? Anti-slugging, I don't really mind. They might need to tweak the number a bit from 90 seconds to like 105 or 120, but we'll see, because I'd rather be overtuned at the start and then corrected than not good enough and then overcorrected. You know? I'm fine if they need to take a minute, take a bit to adjust. But the anti-tunneling needs to be looked at again. It really does. I cannot stress this enough. With the effects to disincentivize it, the 6 total hook state limit, like the fact that it has to be within the first, you cannot kill someone within the first 5 hook states. Which, you know, by the way, I should mention, in case you forgot, 6 hook states is half of your hooks in the entire game. You cannot, for the first 50% of your hooks, kill someone, or else these effects get triggered. Not quite 50%, because it does say 5. It says it before 6 total hook states, so it's probably 5 out of within the first 5 hook states you can't kill someone. That's still like roughly 42% of your hook states. It's like an 8%. It's like an 8 or 9% difference. Yeah, I just did the math. So it's okay, I did the math on a calculator. It's 41 infinite 6, so it's 41 and 2/3, we'll say, of your hook states. 41 to 42%. That is not really great. That doesn't leave you much room to do stuff. Again, if it says before 5, where it was in the first 4 hook states, it's a lot easier to argue that's tunneling, and I think that would be fine. It's a lot harder to accidentally tunnel someone within the first 3 or 4 hook states of the game. I think it is entirely possible to accidentally kill someone in your first 5, though, and this is a bad idea. Just straight up, this is a punishment to the killer for playing the game as the killer. I think that's enough. Like, listen, we just had Franklin's demise gutted because behavior couldn't figure out how to make Franklin's work with the fog vials and the new maps and keys. We had the one anti-item perk that killers had ruined because behavior could not make it work with fog vials, maps, and keys in a way that just straight up was not like game breaking. Why didn't they just pause cooldowns? Why didn't they just like the last couple of patches, the survivors have gotten fed really well. I mostly mean Walking Dead in this, so survivors have been fed really well. FNAF patch, I think killers got a bit of, you know, they got Springtrap. They got buffs to a couple perks. Throwing Tremors got buffed, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this feels like blatant survivor focused update right here. We might get a killer focused update next to balance this out. I would not be fine. I would eat my words if that happened. If I like all this complaining and then killers get a buff next update, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And it's not even necessarily like killers aren't getting buffs still. Like, again, the Myers rework here is arguably a buff. It just doesn't feel like Myers written down. I could be wrong whenever I see it in game. But yeah, I don't know. This is my thing. It's my thing. It's my issue. It's just like, most of everything here is fine. The only things I don't really like so far are the Myers rework and the anti-tunneling stuff. The bottom section where it's just the bottom section and the hiding the hook status I don't really like, but whatever. We'll see how they hit PTB, and then we'll see how they hit live. If the last patch is anything to go off of, this next live update with from PTB to live might be a disaster. So yeah. Have fun, I guess. Mike Myers mains, now's your time to start playing him religiously before he is changed forever. Have fun!